Long ago, in the land of Israel, things were not going well. For 7 long years, the Midianites, a powerful, ruthless people, had taken over. They stole crops, destroyed homes, and left the Israelites with nothing but fear and hunger. The people were desperate, and they cried out to God for help. And God answered, but not in the way anyone expected. Meet Gideon. He wasn't a warrior or a leader. In fact, he was hiding, threshing wheat in secret so the Midianites wouldn't steal it. He felt small, weak, and afraid. But God had other plans. One day, while Gideon worked in secret, the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon was shocked. A mighty warrior? Him? He couldn't believe it. "My family is the weakest in our tribe," he said, "and I'm the least important one in my family." But the Lord reassured him, "Go in the strength you have. I am sending you to save Israel." Even so, Gideon wasn't sure. He asked for a sign, and then another, and God patiently gave him the proof he needed. Slowly, Gideon's faith began to grow. God's first command to Gideon was bold: tear down the altar to Baal, a false god worshipped by his people. Under cover of night, Gideon obeyed. When the villagers discovered what he had done, they were furious. But Gideon's father defended him, saying, "If Baal is a god, let him defend himself." This was Gideon's first act of courage, and it set the stage for what was to come. Encouraged by God's support, Gideon gathered an army to fight the Midianites. 32,000 men answered his call. But God had a surprising message. "You have too many men. If you win with this many, Israel will think they saved themselves. Tell anyone who is afraid to go home." When Gideon did, 22,000 men left. He was left with only 10,000. But God wasn't done yet. God told Gideon to take the men to a river. Those who lapped water with their hands, staying alert, would stay. The rest would go home. When it was over, Gideon's army was reduced to just 300 men. The odds were impossible, but Gideon trusted God. The Midianites were countless, like grains of sand on a beach. Gideon's 300 men had no chance, unless God was on their side. God gave Gideon a strange plan. Instead of swords and shields, Gideon's men carried trumpets, jars, and torches. At night, they surrounded the Midianite camp. At Gideon's signal, they blew their trumpets, smashed their jars, and shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." The noise and lights threw the Midianites into complete chaos. Confused and terrified, they turned on each other with their swords. By morning, the enemy was gone. With just 300 men, Gideon defeated an army beyond counting. But he knew the victory wasn't his. It was God's. Gideon reminded the people, "The Lord delivered us. Let him be your king." For a time, Israel had peace. Gideon's story reminds us that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's trusting God to do great things, even when we feel small.